as we're gonna be having the Game 1 leads revealed to us, our first semi-final. Please, everybody, make some noise. We've got Mousehold, Golden Go versus Rillaboom, and Sneasler already having the Grassy Seed procced from the get-go, unburdened activated. You've got +1 in your physical defense and Fake Out available, so you want to be able to maybe straight away go for the Sword Stance. But on the other side, you've got Golden Go, which at this point, Sneasler doesn't have a good way to attack.
No, it doesn't. However, we have seen the Sneasler, this particular build, after a boost and after a Terra, do like 60 to 70% to a Golden Go with an Acrobatics. Way too much. And so combined with like a high horsepower or just even a Wood Hammer from Rillaboom, that may even be enough for a KO at this point. But Shohei has supported it with that Mousehold now, offering that Friend Guard and that Follow Me support. So Emanuele is not going to be able to do that quite yet.
As we do have Ursaluna actually switching in right now. Just a raw acrobatics, no sword stance set up, and no redirection from the Mousehold, opting to go for the Super Fang, bringing the Ursaluna down to half of his HP, putting it definitely within the range of a Make It Rain at +2 of Golden Go special attack, accompanied by that Life Orb. You've got additional multipliers stacking in effect to the point where the damage becomes quite outrageous, if you ask me.
Now, this is where I feel like the world champ difference is actually a real thing, okay? We just saw Shohei do no protects in front of Fake Out, no terrors, and just set up and do no damage. And that's because Emanuele is like, this is a world champion. I need to like predict lots of stuff and like predict the terrors and protects, and then just really overextends, goes for a non-boosted move, does a switch and doesn't use Fake Out at all, and Shohei's completely gotten away with it.
Shohei's got that aura about him, right? And clearly coming to effect. Now Emanuele has to consider a potential Terra on the Ursaluna in order to be able to resist the Make It Rains.
So there is that Terra, and it's going to be that Terra Electric, which is a really nice type because it's only weak to one type, and it's just a really all-round nice defensive Terra because of that, and using the Ursaluna's natural bulk. But Mousehold is actually going to go on to the Protect here, so let's see where Emanuele targeted. Yeah,
it's a great way to be able to preserve the Friend Guard in effect, but it's also actually going to be a double Protect, should I say, individual per Pokemon on Shohei's side. Close combat, trying to focus down onto the Mousehold. Shohei clearly trying to go ahead and scout out his opponent's moves, and most importantly, the targets that he tries to lock into. Earthbower trying to catch out that Golden Go whilst close combat. Naturally speaking, at this point, unless there's a terrestrialization to the Ghost typing from the Mousehold, will be able to most likely pick up the KO, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt, honestly. It's not the bulkiest of Pokemon, to be honest, but Shohei does have a lot of offense in the tank right now. Life Orb and that +2 is nothing to shake a stick at. Interestingly, though, Shohei did actually go for the double protect there, and Sneasler could have capitalized with a Sword Stance. That would have looked pretty scary. But at the end of the day, the Mousehold would have still been able to survive, redirect away those single target attacks, and still get off that damage that most likely one-hit KOs the Sneasler.
Ooh, but the Mousehold's going to be switching out, David, and in favor of the Dragonite that's been brought. It's a great way to be able to maybe position yourself against this Sneasler in future turns. Of course, it does have the multi-scale intact, which is really good against a +2 in attack Sneasler, which is out to deal so much damage, but the Shadow Ball trying to focus down onto the Blood Moon. Because the Terra Electric is now in effect, Make It Rain is going to not be able to essentially get much damage onto it. You need to try to focus down, take advantage of your +2 in special attack, and that is why Shohei used Shadow Ball.
Yeah, 100%. That was a really good play from Emanuele, being able to say, right, my Ursaluna can do so much damage to your Golden Go with an Earth Power right now. You need to respect me by either going for Terra, or you need to try and KO me, and so capitalizing on that, going for Protect, and even better, getting a free Sword Stance on that Sneasler.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what you want if you are Emanuele, as he's going to be revealing his final fourth Pokemon, being the Ninetales, which does have a Focus Sash. It does have Disable, so maybe trying to catch Shohei out at this point, but better actually face against this Dragonite. However, Make It Rain is going to be coming out. This is definitely not what Ninetales wants to see. It's going to be bringing itself down to its Focus Sash, individual hit point remaining. Dragonite, however, either goes for Tailwind or maybe a focus of a Scale Shot in order to try to guarantee a KO onto the Ursaluna Blood Moon, which seems to be the case. Well played, Emanuele.
Yeah, really well played, but it could have gone wrong pretty quick if that Dragonite had actually gone for Tailwind there, and then allowing that Golden Go to actually outspeed the Ninetales and get that KO. But now the Ninetales is guaranteed to be able to get off any attack it wants. Dragonite cannot touch it. Scale Shot is its only attacking move right now.
Yep.
So Golden Go will still be able to get that KO afterwards, most likely, but at least you'll be able to threaten a Blizzard right now, or at least an Icy Wind to slow it down, and then putting it a little bit slower than maybe some of your Pokemon in the back, namely your own Ursaluna potentially, depending on the speed training. Now that Sneasler is at +2, so whatever it hits, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Just under 50% damage, accompanied by a Blizzard, which does pretty much the same, guarantees a 2-shot on a multi-scale quad weak. Dragonite, make it rain, will make it rain so much, but not enough to pick up a KO onto the Sneasler, remaining with 2 hit points, but Dragonite has yet to move. Can it connect with a Scale Shot, focus into it, or does it maybe go for a Tailwind, which it does? You want to try to guarantee the speed advantage, or at least try to rival this very quick Sneasler, or at least its counter supportive Pokemon by its side.
Yeah, but with that Unburden ability, that Sneasler is still just really, really quick. Yeah. But that Sneasler survived a +2 Make It Rain Life Orb from Golden Go.
It did. That is very impressive.
That is very impressive, honestly.
No Psychic Seed in order to prod the special defense, right?
Exactly. But that does mean you've got to like sacrifice some sort of stat for all of that, and that could be speed. Yeah. So there could be some Pokemon that Shohei has, even that Dragonite maybe, and maybe that Mousehold that can then now outspeed it going forward, and that could make a really big difference thanks to that Tailwind now. But we've got Rillaboom in now for Emanuele. A really good Pokemon to start slowing things down, and with that Assault Vest can most likely survive most combinations of attacks here. Yep. So if Shohei cannot get a double KO this turn, it allows Emanuele to basically double target this turn and see if he can maybe nab a KO into either slot.
All right, and Golden Go actually goes for the Protect, followed suit by its partner Dragonite, doing the exact same. So like we said, wants to make sure that it doesn't get susceptible to any sort of fake out, at least on the Dragonite side, whilst also allowing further HP recovery at the end of the turn for the Golden Go. It's not the leftovers variant, as we've discussed, in order to be able to capitalize twofold by the end turn recovery. It's just so powerful with that Life Orb.
Okay, so we've got 2 more turns of Tailwind, as Emanuele has kindly showed us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that likely means that obviously Golden Go can outspeed this Rillaboom. But as you can see, it's taken a lot of hits, especially with that Life Orb recoil too. And it looks like it's in range of an Acrobatics, but it's actually going to the Dragonite and picks up the KO.
Yeah, it secures it quite nicely. Finally picking up one of Shohei's Pokemon, but Make It Rain following immediately after is going to be doing the exact same, a bit of a trade in that scenario, but much to Shohei's advantage at the current moment because Emanuele is down to his final 2 Pokemon, but the Rillaboom has yet to move. It goes for the Wood Hammer. At that range, it's more than enough, and it also covers any sort of Pokemon switching in from the back. 2 versus 2.
Yeah, but what is that Pokemon that Shohei has brought here? Is it going to be enough to defeat a very healthy Ursaluna with a Terra Electric boost? If Shohei has their own Ursaluna, this could be looking rather nice, especially if you've still got Terra option available. But is the Annihilate actually instead here still a decent Pokemon to have, especially when combined with a Mousehold as its partner?
That's such a good point, because right now, you've got Redirection available, you've got Beat Up available, and you just need to be able to focus down in one target at this point. And the Ursaluna no longer has its normal typing, which means it's going to be susceptible to a Rage Fist focus.
Yeah, exactly. So Beat Up plus Rage Fist, but could potentially get a KO here. But Ursaluna has a big defense stat, honestly, and this one is probably very bulky, given it's the Yawn set, and that's only 2 times it hits, because there's only 2 Pokemon that haven't been fainted. Let's see how much damage this does.
Oh!
That's a KO.
That's a KO, just enough at 150 base power. You don't need any more than that, at least for the Rillaboom KO. Yawn coming into effect right now. Emanuele trying to focus down into the aspect of, okay, still got grass terrain on the field. I get some recovery in combination with that and the leftovers item, and I go for the safe Protect. I guarantee the sleep onto the Annihilate. I don't have to overcommit with a Blood Moon and get caught out. but it sort of leaves a 50-50 scenario on what does the Mousehold do in anticipation?
Yeah, it's a really good question. You've got Super Fang, which is obviously doing a lot of damage into Ursaluna, but then you do less and less each time. It's a really safe protect for Ursaluna, but it looks like, has Shohei maybe called the no protect this turn? Has he gone for the attack or has he bulked up?
Oh, he's gone for the bulk up. A sort of in-between turn, I'd say. Not too aggressive, but not too passive. Means that it will get so much more damage going for it, but the Ursaluna Blood Moon will be enough to pick up the KO onto the Mousehold, leaving a 1 versus 1 between the Ursaluna and the Annihilate. We've seen the speed interactions. Annihilate is the fastest thing, but guess what? It's not going to be able to move because it's now been put to sleep.
Right. It comes down to this. This Annihilate is very strong with its Rage Fist now. Most likely one-hit KOs this Ursaluna as soon as it gets to attack.
Yeah.
But as we've seen the Earth Power come out, Blood Moon can now come out next turn for Emanuele and most likely get the KO. Shohei needs to wake up.
Oh, he really does. And there was a chance for the special defense drop to further bolster its attack, but no, he hasn't been able to wake up. The Blood Moon will be unleashed. It rises from the heavens and it absolutely picks up the KO onto the Annihilate. Shohei down a game, Emanuele up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Emanuele must be feeling so pumped right now after such a close game and taking that win and really showing how that Yawn Ursaluna is so strong. Like, just Terror or not, you just apply that pressure so well. And an amazing call at the end there to just go for the attack and not protect as well. Nab that KO on the Mousehold, stop it going for any more follow me's or redirections, which it really could have done into the following turns, and giving Shohei the opening to stall out those sleep turns. But no, Emanuele went for it, he made the play he needed to, and absolutely got it.
Yeah, what a way to go about it, especially up against a trainer like Shohei, previous world champ. And that sort of is what we were leaning into a bit, discussion-wise, David, trying to read and figure out the playstyle of your opponent, whilst also information wars. And at this point, Shohei didn't want to go too aggressive, but was anticipating, just in case there's a defensive play from Emanuele, I want to be able to still capitalize, get an additional boost, but unfortunately, did not make the right call. If he went on the offensive, may as well have just been able to finish off the game, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could argue, yeah, was it a bit too much to go for another bulk up? Yeah, it's a good question. If you just have enough damage there, then maybe you just hope it's just enough, to be honest, and then you get the KO and you can avoid the whole shebang after that. But yeah, not the case, unfortunately, for this time. Obviously, Shohei probably knows these calcs better than we do.
Oh, definitely.
So maybe knew he wasn't getting the KO without that extra bulk up. So we'll never know as we head into game 2.
Yes, we will. Get ready. It's time for the leads. We've got Golden Go, Mousehold yet again from Shohei's side, but a bit of a change-up from Emanuele's. We've got the Alola Ninetales, now accompanied by the Blood Moon Ursaluna, absolutely tossing the table out. Maybe try and anticipate an adaptation from Shohei and going for his own.
Now, something Shohei can really do here is Super Fang plus Make It Rain / Shadow Ball to get pretty much any KO he wants to at the moment. Something that would be really incredible to be able to do right now. Because it would just turn on the heat and do the exact opposite of what he did on game 1, which was be really passive, switch, nasty plot, which could catch Emanuele off guard here. But Emanuele, of course, has tools of their own as well. And even if it was Super Fang plus Make It Rain, this Ninetale's still going to move off.
Yeah, as we do see the first Terastallization, and it's going to be that electric typing on the Blood Moon. You want to make sure that you don't fall short of losing too much HP resource from a very offensive play of the Super Fang and the Make It Rain. So, seems like that may just well be the case. Icy Wind, however, will be coming out. The Blood Moon Ursaluna has a good chance of actually outspeeding, dependent on the training, but it does not. Make It Rain, however, is going to be able to not only deal a relative good chip damage onto the Blood Moon Ursaluna, however, also bringing the Ninetales down to its Focus Sash, now allowing the Ninetales to be able to go for another Icy Wind and most likely, oh wait, no, of course the Earth Power isn't actually able to pick up the KO. Icy Wind might even be able to pick up the KO now with the double target.
Yeah, it's really close to it now, honestly. It's like, and there's nothing stopping it either. You could just Blizzard, you can Icy Wind. Like you might as well honestly Blizzard, to be honest, because there's nothing stopping that, to be fair. And then there's no way that this Mousehole can get a KO on the Ursaluna anyway either, because it's just got Super Fang and it's got Beat Up.
Yep.
So really excellent positioning for Emanuele, actually, based on that. Crucial survival from Golden Go, but in some ways you may have even wanted to go down there, so you get the kind of paid switch into the Annihilate, and then start maybe trying to go for some setups beyond that time.
Yeah.
But instead, it's kind of stuck there like a sitting duck, and it wants to kind of protect and switch around. So here's Shohei's attempt here to reposition his board.
Yeah, you want to be able to at least preserve that mouse hold. In anticipation of an Annihilate being in the back, you want to be able to have like a dual stream sweep of potential in order to be able to rival Emanuele's disruption from his side of the field. Golden Go does go down at this point. Blood Moon, you see, trying to focus down onto the mouse hold. Getting 2 KOs would have been so good in terms of remaining pieces, but like you said, David, Shohei at least wanting to try to preserve.
So we'll have to see what he brings in this time. So obviously the Ninetales is so speedy at the moment and can really threaten a lot of damage. So yeah, if it was Dragonite in the back, which it most likely is if Shohei brought the same 6, Annihilate has to come in at this stage. So obviously also very much would happily take an Icy Wind.
Oh yeah.
Get 3+2 attack boost.
Why not?
Why not indeed? And the other move on this Ninetales is Disable, which it can't do a whole lot with at the moment either. So it's a really good position. Shohei still has Friend Guard online as well, and so there is an opportunity to start setting up here. Obviously, he's a Pokemon down, so he needs to really play this carefully. The other thing that's got going for Shohei is that Ursaluna has already spent the Blood Moon, so it can't go for it again here. So it needs to go for a slightly weaker Earth Power as well, but Yawn is a very real threat.
Oh, but Icy Wind is the move of choice here. This is very dicey and risky from Emanuele's side. Like you mentioned, we've got a speed drop, but in favor of a Defiant. Now at +2, Rage Fist means it's got an additional proc on it. It is enough to pick up the KO onto the Ursaluna. Already such a powerful piece from Emanuele's side, out of contention.
Yeah, really good call there, honestly. And there's the Mousehole actually being slower actually than itself because of that Icy Wind from before.
Yeah.
But either way, still enough to get that KO. Likely thanks to that Ninetales actually attacking it.
Yeah.
Without it attacking, that Ursaluna likely survives.
Yeah.
And that becomes really, really awkward. But Shohei, being the expert player he is, absolutely calls it really nicely. Now, it's pretty threatening. It's +2 attack. What do you do? Well, Sneasler with the acrobatics is really nice too, but we've still got Follow Me on the board. And the issue is, you can't get the KO on the mouse hold and then follow up with Sneasler at this point yet. Because Ninetales can't do a lot of damage. It's the Sneasler that needs to KO that, and it needs to KO the Annihilate. So if you want to try and get Caesar to the point that it can actually survive an attack from Annihilate, Rillaboom needs to come in at some point. So that is the tricky scenario here, and makes Emanuele quite vulnerable because of how predictable that play is. And we can see him locking in here now.
Yeah, there it is. Rillaboom is being brought in. Grass Terrain online allows the activation, of course, of the Grassy Seed. +1 defense. Yeah, I think this is going to be such a crucial turn, which may well decide who becomes a finalist or if Shohei can force a Game 3. Now, Sneasler is going to be able to move first outside of priority, but Mousehold wanting to make sure Friend Guard is still available online. It is not susceptible to a close combat focus, but this allows the Annihilate to actually move, which didn't go for a defensive play. Rage Fist, is it enough at +2 and multiple Rage Fist counts? Of course it is! Defense boost! Annihilate says, no, not for me and not for you two. KO'd absolutely outright.
Emanuele must be really regretting that Icy Wind now, particularly as the Annihilate was still fast enough to outspeed the Ursaluna as well in that previous turn. So yeah, that attack stat is really paying dividends right now. Sneasler, even through that defense boost, all that bulk training has absolutely gone down. Now, at least Rillaboom is in here with a fake-out turn, so you can at least kind of threaten the Mousehold a little bit, and you can go for use the Ninetales to maybe disable the Annihilate, try to call the move that's coming out, but with all that attack, Drain Punch is still really effective as well. There's not a lot stopping this. Well, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on it, but Blizzard Freeze is away.
Why did you do that? We're going to have to see. And he's sort of blasted.
I have to say it.
You do, you're right. You are contractually obliged, my friend. We have got Annihilate now protecting. A double protect effort from that Mousehold. Fails. Blizzard from the Ninetales will now come out. Not quite pick up a KO, but if we got the safe target into that slot, then it would have been enough. But no, Woodhammer trying to lock down with this Annihilate. We've said time and time again, it is the main sweeper from Shohei's side. He's still got a Pokemon in the back that hasn't even been revealed, and Emanuele is down to his final 2.
Now, what's actually quite awkward about this turn is that Blizzard, if it hits, can actually pick up this Mousehold, and now the Woodhammer gets redirected into the Annihilate. Whereas the previous turn, you could have had a Follow Me and a Blizzard, and then the Woodhammer goes into the Mousehold, and then Annihilate gets to go for an attack.
Right.
But this time, Annihilate is a little bit worried it could take a lot of damage, but luckily for Shohei, it's that Terra Fire. However, Willy Boom has high horsepower. What has Emanuele locked into?
Oh, it's going to be close, and it's going to have to be enough. Oh, wait, there's a protect from the Mousehold. It's going to be able to, of course, preserve the Friend Guard still online. Blizzard, it's just the only thing it's going to be doing is, I would say, only... Okay, there's no freeze, cool. It's going to be able to get more Rage Fist counters actually compiling against one another, especially because of the Woodhammer. This means the Rillaboom will be felled as well. There is too much power behind this outrageous fist from Annihilate. There's been an absolute sweep and masterclass from Shohei's side. And I think, like you said, David, Emanuele is going to really have to think long and hard on this because the Icy Wind seemed to bite back in this scenario with that Defiant +2 prop.
Yeah, 100% there. I mean, like, even if Blizzard gets a ton of freezes here, it's probably going to run out of BP before it can even take this game.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen what's in the back either, so we can see Shohei knowing that end game as well, making sure that his Pokemon stay as long around as possible and stall out this Blizzard's BP.
Yeah, and I think Shohei's thought process there is, I might as well go for the double protect because let's say Annihilate does get frozen, it will force my final Pokemon to come out, which I do not want to reveal any bit of information going into this final Game 3 because at this point, Shohei may well feel comfortable in being able to bring the same sort of variation of 4 that he brought to this Game 2.
Yeah, it's a really good point, honestly, Costa. I think it's you can see how the game played so differently, even though we had the same 6 Pokemon as well. So that turn 1 was really interesting. It kind of really switched things up a bit, didn't it? Where Shohei went on the offense, basically kind of using his Golden Go as just a little bit of a cannon, just to kind of throw a load of damage out, just kind of accept maybe it getting fainted afterwards, but having at least that damage on the board, chipping the Focus Sash on the Ninetales and getting all that damage onto the Ursaluna, which otherwise is just so bulky. Yeah. But going to Game 3, this is where a lot of trainers may consider switching things up, especially when they've gone with the same game plan. You want to try and catch your opponent off guard a little bit, and having 4 different Pokemon may completely change that up. So we've got to be looking at some of the opportunities for Shohei to potentially go with that Dragonite, for instance, or maybe its own Ursaluna as well, which would do very nicely into the Sneasler, particularly if it gets off that Earth Power and goes into that Terra Water. But either way, that Ninetales is very scary. Yeah. But Emanuele is likely to play different too, because knowing that Icy Wind is not enough to lower the speed of Annihilate, like, all that Golden Go for Ursaluna throughout speed means that he's probably not going to do that play again.
No, and I wouldn't blame him, in all honesty, unless he finds a line that it makes the most sense and he could quickly dispatch of it during that turn, because at that point, you just can't afford to give it free boosts. And that's sort of the beauty of Defiant users or competitive users, because you're able to just capitalize off of either a misplay or a risk play from your opponent's side and absolutely just complement your Pokemon and get outrageous damage output going. So it's going to be quite close. Both of our trainers are thinking long and hard because this is their tournament lifeline that is up for grabs. Final Game 3. Which of these 2 trainers will be entering the finals here at Frankfurt Regional Championships? Play the leads. We've got them on screen. Golden Go Mousehold for Shohei versus yet another variation from Emanuele's side, the Blood Moon, accompanied now by the Sneasler.
Yeah, so a brand new lead from Emanuele, actually. So I quite like this, to be honest, because the Ursaluna, as we've seen, applies so much pressure, especially onto that Golden Go, kind of forcing Shohei to actually have to go for that follow me if he wants to avoid significant damage onto it. But at the same time now, Sneasler offers that threat against just a passive play by setting up with a Swords Dance, and of course, being able to one-hit KO a Mousehold with a close combat at any point that Emanuele wants to go for. That's a really threatening lead, and Shohei doesn't have a particularly safe play versus that, unless he kind of commits, say, a Terra Ghost onto that Mousehold.
Yeah, and that's such a good call-out too, because it sort of allows Shohei to be able to burn out the Terra early on from Emanuele's side, and then maybe try to target down a mid-game sort of Annihilate Brilliant, similar to what we saw in that game too. Superfine does miss the Ursaluna. This could be quite crucial because every little piece of damage matters. Sword Stance being set up on the other side of the field. Emanuele has got things running. Shadowball clearly trying to focus down on accomplishing what it could not last time, and because of the Superfine miss, it could have been so close. Maybe even a roll to pick up an outright KO onto Emanuele's Pokemon side. The life of Recoil. Oh my lord! It's a critical hit onto the Golden Go. It goes down in turn 1. This could be so huge.
Emanuele has just gone absolutely ham with this play here. Earth Power, getting that KO on Golden Go without it even doing like 50% to the Ursaluna is absolutely massive. Mousehold getting away with doing like absolutely nothing, and Sneasler getting away with a Swords Dance already. Golden Go off the board, being the only Pokemon that can resist both of the like same type attack bonus, like moves that Sneasler has, and the acrobatics, means Emanuele is in an incredible position.
Yeah, it truly, at this point, it seems like the odds are in his favor. He's doing an incredible job to be able to take advantage of it. However, this game is not over. Annihilate, the pseudo Shadow Sweeper, right after Golden Go, is back on the field. Now, in Game 3, accompanied by Mousehold, easily susceptible to its beat-up strategy potentials, and I think Ursaluna's identified that.
Yeah, 100% though, but the Ursaluna is switching out into this Rillaboom to be able to get that defense boost online. We've seen critical hits before. We can see them on Shohei's side in the future as well. There is still very much potential here. We've seen how Annihilate can 1v4 teams this weekend, so we can definitely see the potential for a world champion to do just that as well. Gratis Seed boosting up that Sneasler, and now we see the responding Terra here. It's going to be that Annihilate going for that Terrify that was so strong earlier, taking away that weakness to those acrobatics.
Yes, as it's going to be able to sort of absorb the damage in order to be able to improve the damage count of the Rage Fist. The acrobatics not quite enough to pick up the K on the Mousehold, which means the beat up has been able to be launched. But because of the Golden Go going down, it's going to only hit 3 times. We have got a 200 base power Rage Fist going into the Rillaboom because of missing that additional 50 base power. Not quite enough to be able to pick it up.
Rillaboom as now on the field. Fake Out is now on the board and can also affect this Annihilate. Obviously, it's going to boost up that Rage Fist potential damage, but you're kind of at a point where does any further damage really make a difference to its damage potential, to be honest?
No, I don't think so.
Not really.
No.
So, yeah, like, it's probably quite a safe play to do, and Mousehold can't do a lot in return. Obviously, we can see that double protect that could come out again. Again, is Shohei worried about more Sword Stance boost on the Sneasler? For the same reason? Possibly not. It's probably getting a KO on anything it touches at this point as well. So maybe a little bit safer to just reposition, get in that Dragonite, start setting up a little bit of speed control maybe.
Yeah, speed control, name of the game right now, and it's got such a great positioning in terms of, I would say, the multi-scale being intact, but that's not the case, because it's been broken by the Fake Out, accompanied by another Sword Stance. Oh my lordy, this Sneasler is so primed and ready to just go on the offensive.
Yeah, it's looking so scary now. I think, like, obviously the multi-skeleton's broken there, and this is going to be a +4 acrobatics that could be coming out here. I have to see the trade. I don't know my counts on this. There's the Grassy Glide. Mousehold down. Sneasler next.
It's going to have to connect and pick up as well if we don't already see. Oh, well, it's going to be the case. It's enough! Acrobatics, what are you doing? You're picking up a KO on what is a very powerful Gen 1 Pokemon, and that has put so much wind in Emanuele's sails versus a solo Annihilate. You have got all 4 4 of your Pokemon. Grassy Glide, sure, you'll increase the base power of Rage Fist to 250, but Sneasler is here. It's a +4. It's able to break the defenses of Annihilate and lead Emanuele into the finals.
Huge congratulations to Emanuele Briganti here, toppling the world champion who was almost on their way to steal that world invite.